Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare
Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare.
Ram.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
हरे
Rama
कृष्ण
Rama.
हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Rama,
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम
Hare Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
हरे राम राम हरे हरे
Ram Ram.
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
राम हरे
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे
Hare
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण
Ram,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपस्ताय भूतले श्रीमती राधानासामिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपस्ताय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत सामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे जय श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे
अनंत विजय
हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय भूतले श्रीमती राधा स्वामी विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपस्ताय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत साथी गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे
हरे कृष्णा राजू प्रभु जी।
हाँ हरे कृष्ण माता जी। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
One second.
Hare Ram, Ram,
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे
Ram,
आसन
Ram, Ram,
First,
हरे राम
reading Adya.
हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे
Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Sapan Prabhu, Deepa Mataji, Lalit Mohan Prabhu, Rashmi Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
All Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining today. So today is January 9. I'm just quickly reading the PG calendar. अनंत विजयां राजा कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः नकुला सह देवश्च सुघोषा मणिपुष्पकौ कस्यश्च परमेश्वासा शिखण्डी च महारथा दृष्ट्यद्युम्नो विरातश्च सात्यकी सा पराजिता द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयश्च सर्वसा पृथ्वीपते सौभद्र महाबाहु Dadmo Pratak Pratak. These are the 16, 17, and 18 verses. BG, first chapter, 16, 17, and 18 verses. Different conscience and names of these various personalities given here. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch named the Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sugosha and Manipushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Sikandi, Pradyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conches. Anybody remember the mighty armed son of Subhadra? Who is he?
Abhimanyu.
Yes, yes. Everybody is there. Even sons of Draupadi, the sons of Draupadi, also there. That means Pandavas, Upapandavas, everybody there. Okay, we'll start with Mangalasharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Omagyantivirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namaste. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktananda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam pāvam langāyate yatkrupatam Shri Gurundevatārim Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Om Avitra Pavitro Sarvavasangato Piva Yasmaret Ndari Paksham Sabhya Vyantaram Suchihi. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Just sharing screen. So we are in from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 10, the Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So we are in this section. This 10 to 35, Sarga, creation of the Virat Rupa, answer to Parikshit questions in 2.8.11. So we have done until 18 verses yesterday. So we continue from 19. So let us see this quick navigation. So what is it? Virat Rupa's desire to eat, to speak. Next, gross sense organ, Adi Bhuta, and subtle sense organ. This is a Vishwa what is that? Virat Rupa of Supreme Lord, and there's the senses. Gross sense organ called Adi Bhuta. Subtle sense organ called Adhyatma, sense Devata, Adi Deva. And Tanmatra, Adi Bhuta, the bodily activity. I will read first translations and purports by Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, can you close that window on the right?
Prabhuji, sorry. In the PDF, no? PDF, మీరు అన్నది?
Yeah, PDF లో ఉంది కదా export.
Is okay.
Yeah.
ఇట్లా చేయొచ్చు.
అది I think view కి వెళ్ళండి. వ్యూ ఆర్ విండో ఇది దాంట్లో ఒక దాంట్లో ఫుల్ స్క్రీన్ మోడ్ అన్న రీడ్ మోడ్ పేజ్ డిస్ప్లే
పైన ఐకాన్స్ లో కూడా ఉంది ప్రభుజీ రైట్ సైడ్.
somehow now it's gone. ఎక్కడ ఉంది మాత్రమే మీరు చెప్పింది?
అక్కడ పైన ఐకాన్స్ లో సేవ్ అది ఉంది కదా, దాని పక్కన ఎక్స్పాండ్ టు ద స్క్రీన్ వాళ్ళ ఐకాన్ ఉంది.
ఓకే 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 ఎస్ ఎస్.
లాస్ట్ లో దాంట్లో ఆ రోలో లాస్ట్
అచ్చా వెరీ గుడ్. ఎస్ okay. We'll come back here this document after reading some of the purports and translation by Srila Prabhupada. This be 2.10.19. Start చేయండి సంయుక్త మాతాజీ. 19th verse.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ, దండవత్ ప్రణామం. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: when the Supreme desired to speak, speeches were vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire was generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. Purport: the peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously supported by their controlling deities. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. One who violates such controlling regulations has to be punished by degradation to a lower status of life. Consider, for example, the tongue and its controlling deity, Varuna. The tongue is meant for eating, and men, animals, birds each have their different taste because of different licenses. The taste of human beings and that of the swine are not on the same level. The controlling deity, however, awards or certifies a particular type of body when the particular living entity develops a taste in terms of different modes of nature. If the human being develops taste without discrimination, as does the swine, then the controlling deity is certainly certified for the next term to award him the body of a swine. The swine accepts any kind of foodstuff, including stools, and a human being who has developed such indiscriminate taste must be prepared for a degraded life in the next life. Such a life is also God's grace, because the conditioned soul desired a body like that for perfectly tasting a particular type of foodstuff. If a man gets the body of a swine, it must be considered the grace of the Lord, because the Lord awards the facility. After death, the next body is offered by superior control, not blindly. A human being, therefore, must be on his guard as to what sort of body he is going to have in the next life. An irresponsible life of indiscrimination is risky, and that is the declaration of all scriptures. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Right. Yes, Mother. If you desire, it's Krishna's mercy, we got that body. There also Krishna's grace. Everywhere Krishna's grace only. By Krishna's grace. Prabhupada writes, by God, such a life is God's grace. Because we desire, and the body he has to fulfill. He has to give on the body to taste that particular. Sandhya Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam.
No.
Translation, Bhagavad Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thereafter, when the Supreme Purusha desired to smell odors, the nostrils and respiration were generated. The nasal instrument and odors came into existence, and the controlling deity of air, carrying smell, also became manifested. But the nasal instrument, odor, and the controlling deity of air, smelling, etc., all became manifested simultaneously when the Lord desired to smell. The Vedic mantras confirm the statement in the Upanishads, statement that everything is first desired by the Supreme, therefore the subordinate living entity can act upon it. The living entity can see only when the Lord sees, the living entity can smell when the Lord smells, and so on. The idea is that the living entity cannot do anything independently. He can simply think of doing something independently, but he cannot act independently. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord, but the thinking can be given shape by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, the common saying is that man proposes and God disposes. The whole explanation is on the subject of the absolute dependence of the living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. Less intelligent person claiming to be an equal level with God, but must first prove themselves to be absolute and independent, and then they must substantiate their claim to being one with God.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Man proposes, God disposes. Man wants, God gives. Rashmi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Please read. Next, 21 verse. I have seen
Hare
that.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Please read.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Translation. Thus, when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see Himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's Son, the power of vision, and the object of sight all became manifested. Purport. The universe is by nature dense darkness, and therefore the total creation is called tamas or darkness. The night is the real feature of the universe, for then one cannot see anything, including oneself. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well. And thus the sun became manifested. The power of vision for all living entities became possible, and the objects of vision were also manifested. This means that the whole phenomenal world became visible after the creation of the sun. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So without
Thank
sun,
you, Prabhuji.
yeah, thank you. Without sun, all these planets are blind. So this is the important statement. First desired to see himself and all the creation as well. And then sun became manifested. Without sun, there is no. We don't see ourselves also. We won't be able to see ourselves also. We need a light to see ourselves. How much ignorance we are in. So sun compared to knowledge. So we have to understand our real body, the soul, through the knowledge of the scripture, especially Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So that way, comparison. Otherwise, andhakaram, ignorance, nescience, different words. This nescience, nonsense, different words. 22nd verse, Vani Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yeah, no, please read.
Yeah. Okay. Translation. By development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing become manifested. The great sages desire to hear about the self. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of nature or physical knowledge, which is working by the direction of the Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in the material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibrations of mundane affairs. The great sages were interested in hearing about the Lord through Vedic knowledge and nothing more. This is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge.
So, hearing propensity using Krishna service. Hearing about Bhagavad Gita, hearing about Srila Bhagavatam pastimes, so that our senses utilized properly. Otherwise, vibrations of mundane affairs, chit, 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 chat, 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 materialistic vibrations.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. When there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristic of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, cold, lightness, and heaviness, the background of sensation, the skin pores, the hairs on the body, and their controlling deities, the trees, were generated. Within and outside the skin is a covering of air through which sense perception became prominent. Purport. The physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, are subjects of sense perception, and thus the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, are subjects of sense perception, and thus physical knowledge is the subject matter of the touch sensation. One can measure the temperature of matter by touching with the hand, and one can measure the weight of an object by lifting it with the hand, and thus estimate its heaviness or lightness. The skin pores, and the hairs of the body are all interdependent with the touch sensation. The air blowing within and outside the skin is also an object. The air blowing within and outside the skin is also an object of sense perception. This sense perception is also a source of knowledge, and therefore it is suggested here that physical or physiological knowledge is subordinate to the knowledge of the self, as above mentioned. Knowledge of self can expand to the knowledge of phenomena, but physical knowledge cannot lead to knowledge of the self. There is, however, an intimate relation between the hairs in the body and the vegetation on the body of the earth. The vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and medicine. As stated in the third canto, Twacham Asya Vinirbhinnam Vivishur Dhishnyam Oshadhi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Sense perception, touch perception. The feelings will be arised. Go ahead, Lavanya, 24th verse.
24.
Mhm.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, and also the acts dependent on both the hands and the demigod. Purport. In every item, we can note with profit that the sense organs of the living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses, Rishikesha. Thus, the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by a certain number of demigods. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses, and the senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are the servants of the Supreme Lord. There is an arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there is no independence either of the material nature or the living entity. The illusion living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as the living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord, that is Maya, and there is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, Maya. However much one may declare himself a liberated soul. Hare Krishna.
Text 25. Prabhuji's, Raju Prabhu.
I'll read, Prabhu. Yeah. Translation. Thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifested, and from the legs, the controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By personal supervision of the act, all varieties of human beings are busily engaged in beautiful occupational sacrifice. Purpose. Every human being is engaged in this particular occupational duty, and such activities are visible to that and either. This is very prominently visible in big cities of world. People are going all over the cities with a great concern from one place to another. This movement is not limited only to the cities, but is also visible outside the cities from one place to another, or from one city to another by different means of vehicles. Men are moving by car and rails on the road, by subways within the earth, and by planes in the sky for the purpose of business success. But in all these movements, real purpose is to earn wealth for comfortable life. For this comfortable life, the scientist is engaged, the artist is engaged, the engineer is engaged, the technician is engaged, and all in the different branches of human activity. But they do not know how to make the activities purposeful to fulfill the mission of human life. Because they do not know this secret, all their activities are targeted towards the goal of sense gratification without control, and therefore, by all this business, they are unknowingly enter into the deep regions of darkness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. You want to read? You have time?
No, Prabhu. Somebody can come.
Okay. Yes, Sapan Prabhu. Continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Because they have been captivated by the external energy of the Supreme Lord, they have completely forgotten the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and thus they have taken it for granted that this life, as presently manifested under the conditions of material nature, is all in all for enjoying the highest amount of sense gratification. But such a wrong conception of life cannot give anyone the desired peace of mind, and thus, in spite of all advancement in knowledge by use of the resource of nature, no one is happy in this material civilization. The secret is that at every step, they should try to execute sacrifices toward the path of world peace. The Bhagavad Gita 18:45-46 also advises the same secret in the following verses. Sve sve karmanya avirataha samsiddhim labate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yata vidanti takshruno yata pravittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. The Lord said to Arjuna, just hear from me how one can attain the highest perfection in life by simply discharging his specified occupational duty. Man can attain the highest perfection of life by worshipping the Supreme Lord and by performing sacrifice for the sake of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is all pervading and by whose control every living being acquires his desired facilities, according to the personal propensity. There is no harm in having different propensities in life because every human being is proportionally independent to chalk out the plan of his life by different occupations, but one should make it a point in his life to know perfectly well that he is not independent absolutely. One is certainly under the control of Supreme Lord and under different agencies. Knowing this, one should make it a point that by his work and the result of his labor, he serves the Supreme Lord as prescribed by the authorities expert in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. For performing such occupational duties of life, the leg is the most important instrument of the body, because without the help of the legs, one cannot move from one place to another. And therefore, the Lord has special control over the legs of all human beings, which are meant for performing yagnas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you please scroll up, Prabhuji? Giriraj Prabhu? Svesve Karmani. Yeah. Okay. These are the very two important verses in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Which comes at the last chapter. These are the concluding verses actually. And after this, at last, he will say that, okay, Sarva Dharmana Parityajna. But before that, he says, occupational duties. Occupational duties. He stresses on this point actually a lot. Out of that 53.5 minutes of his speech, of his Gita, more than half, he will stress on what? Occupational duties. Or this, what you say? Varnashrama. Why he says that? Because whatever you have gained through your previous karma, just follow on to that. But, you know, what you say? Do it as a sacrifice to me. That's it. That is enough. Okay. So actually, why I am telling this is, at this shloka, you know, our what you say, Vaishnav Training Academy, VTA in Chaupati and all, they stopped for at least 27 hours, 27 classes. They have taken 27 classes on this one only to let us know what our swabhava should be and how we should, what you say, really take out what our swabhava is and then do our bhakti accordingly. Swabhava means again what? Something which you like very much in bhakti, and catch hold of it and then slowly do your bhakti. Okay. And swabhava is also an occupational duty actually. Means if you are interested in something because of your past karma or your past lives activities, you are inclined to do that activity again and again. So just Krishnafy it, means, you know, offer the fruits or whatever you earn from that and just give it to Krishna as a service to Krishna. So that is the essence of this. Actually, this Svesve Karmani, very important shloka, both these two. Okay. Whenever this Svesve Karmani comes, na, it means that occupational duty or Swabhava, our own Swabhava. We should work on it and then we should go ahead in bhakti. Else, it will be tough even in bhakti. This will be also one more thing in our life to control. Like we have professional life, we have personal life, then we will also have a devotional life. That will be a separate entity. But if it is a Swabhava, it will be, you know, amalgamated in these two, personal and professional life. Okay. We do our professional life for Krishna. We do our personal life for Krishna. When we know our Swabhava properly and we act accordingly. Else, devotional life will be a third entity in our lives, and to manage three things will be very difficult along with family. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhavji. According to his personal propensity. Swabhava.
Yeah, this personal propensity will come according to our Jata Karma actually. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Chandraval Prabhu, Kirjan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Chandraval Prabhu, read please.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tiruppan for sexual pleasure, begetting offspring and tasting a heavenly nectar. The Lord developed the genitals, and thus there is the genital organ, and its controlling deity, the Prajapati. The object of sexual pleasure and the controlling deity are under the control of the genitals of the Lord. Purport. The heavenly pleasure for the conditioned soul is sexual pleasure, and this pleasure is tasted by the genitals. 1 minute, please. The woman is the object of sexual pleasure, and both the sense perception of sexual pleasure and thus the women are controlled by the Prajapati, who is under the control of the Lord's genitals. The impersonalist must know from this verse that the Lord is not impersonal, for he has his genitals on which all the pleasurable objects of sex depend. No one would have taken the trouble to maintain children if there were no taste of heavenly nectar by means of sexual intercourse. This material world is created to give the conditioned souls a chance of regeneration, generation of going back home, back to Godhead, and therefore generation of the living being is necessary for a keen
the purpose of creation. Sexual pleasure is an impetus for such action, and as such, one can even serve the Lord in the act of such sexual pleasure. The service is content when the children born of such sexual pleasure are properly trained in God consciousness. The whole idea of material creation is to revive the dormant God consciousness of living entity. In forms of life other than the human form, sexual pleasure is prominent without any motive of service for the mission of the Lord. But in the human form of the life, the conditioned soul can render service to the Lord by creating pregnancy suitable for the attainment of salvation. One can beget hundreds of children and enjoy the celestial pleasure of sexual intercourse, provided he is able to train the children in God consciousness. Otherwise, begetting children is on the level of the swine. Rather, the swine is more expert than the human being, because the swine can bring a dozen piglets at a time, whereas the human being can give both to only one at a time. So one should always remember that the genital sexual pleasure, the woman and the offspring are all related to in the service of the Lord. And one who forgets this relationship in the service of the Supreme Lord becomes subject to the threefold miseries of material existence by laws of nature. Perception of sexual pleasure is there even in the body of the dog, but there is no sense of God consciousness. The human form of life is distinct from that of the dog by the perception of God consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada only write this one, using sex in Krishna's service. Begetting hundreds of children, but make sure, provided he is able to train the children in God consciousness. Continue. 27. Akinjan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Recitation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, when he decided to evacuate the refuse of eatables, the evacuating holes, anus, and the sensory organs therefore developed along with the controlling deity Mitra. The sensory organ and the evacuating substance are both under the shelter of the controlling deity. Purport, even in the matter of evacuating stool, the refuse is controlled. So how can a living entity claim to be independent?
Continue. This one also, is it? 28.
Yes. Translation. Thereafter, when he decided to move from one body to another, the navel and the air of the departure and the death were combinedly created. The navel is the shelter of both, namely death and the separating force. Purport. The pranavayu continues the life and the apana vayu stops the living force. Both the vibrations are generated from the abdominal hole, the navel. This navel is the joint from one body to another. The Lord Brahma was born of the abdominal hole of the Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, a separate body. And the same principle is followed even in the birth of any ordinary body. The body of the child develops from the body of the mother. And when the child is separated from the body of the mother, it is separated by cutting the navel joint. And that is the way the Supreme Lord manifested himself as separated body. The living entities are therefore separated parts, and thus they have no independence.
Thank you, Guru.
Right.
29 and 30. These are the two verses for this section. Okay. Anybody there? We have to see. Okay. Yeah, I will read. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text 29, 2.10.29. When there was a desire to have food and drink, the abdomen and the intestines and also the arteries became manifested. The rivers and seas are the source of their sustenance and metabolism. Purport. The controlling deities of the intestines are the rivers, and those of the arteries, the seas. Fulfillment of the belly with food and drink is the cause of sustenance, and the metabolism of the food and drink replaces the waste of the bodily energies. Therefore, the body's health is dependent on healthy actions of the intestines and the arteries. The rivers and the seas, being the controlling deities of the two, keep the intestines and the arteries in healthy order. Yeah. We'll restart. This 30th one. Again, we'll start Mataji's. Samyukta Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhu. Translation. Then there was a desire to think about the activities of his own energy. Then the heart, the seat of the mind, the moon, determination, and all desire became manifested. Purport. The heart of every living entity is the seat of the Supersoul Paramatma, a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without his presence, the living entity cannot get into the working energy according to his past deeds. The living entities who are conditioned in the material world are manifested in the creation in terms of respective inclinations inherent in them, and the requisite material body is offered to each and every one of them by the material energy under the direction of the Supersoul. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10. When, therefore, the Supersoul is situated in the heart of the conditioned soul, the requisite mind is manifested in the conditioned soul, and he becomes conscious of his occupation as one is conscious of his duty after waking up from slumber. Therefore, the material mind of the living entity develops when the super soul sits on his heart, after which the mind, the controlling deity, moon, and then the activities of the mind, namely thinking, feeling, and willing, all take place. The activities of the mind cannot begin without the manifestation of the heart, and the heart becomes manifested when the Lord wants to see the activities of the material creation. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Right. Thank you, Mataji. ఒకసారి ఈ డాక్యుమెంట్ చూద్దాము, ఎందుకంటే ఆల్ దీస్ 30 వర్సెస్ దే నైస్లీ గ్రూప్డ్ ఇంటూ టేబుల్ ఫార్మాట్, sensory organs, controlling deities. Nicely, let us quickly read this along with this so that we'll be on the same page. Yeah. But 3 ఇట్లా సీక్వెన్స్ ఇట్లా ఉంది. ఓకే, మధ్యలో 17, 18 తర్వాత ఇక్కడ 19 ఇట్లా ఇచ్చారు. సో సీక్వెన్స్ చదవండి ప్రాబ్లం. యా, సంధ్యా మాతది. వాణి మాతది.
Prabhuji.
Right.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
The Lord's desire. 22. To understand through Vedic sound, gross sense organ, subtle sense organ, sense devata, and sense object plus gross element. Okay. For 22, to understand himself through Vedic sound, karna, ears are needed. Stotra, it's a subtle sense organ. Sense devata is dig devatas, sound and ether. Prabhuji, what is dig devatas? They are part of demigods, huh?
Devata, sense devata, part of demigods only.
Okay.
Devatas, and supreme
Okay.
devata, demigods.
Okay. 23.
Devatas, I think, are related to the direction, Mataji, like
Sensory.
north ఒకళ్ళు ఉంటారు, సో నార్త్ ఈస్ట్ ఒకళ్ళు ఉంటారు, నార్త్ వెస్ట్
Yeah, అదే. సో అంటే డెమిగాడ్స్ అన్నమాట వీళ్ళందరూ.
అందరు డెమిగాడ్స్
దిక్పాలకులు అంటారు కదా,
రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఫర్.
దిక్పాలకులు దేవతాస్
నేను గెస్ కొడుతున్నాను, పేరు బట్టి గెస్ కొడుతున్నాను, బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో. I'll check in the meantime. I'll check.
Okay. To experience soft-heartedness, hard-heartedness, heat, cold, heavy, light objects, etc. Tvachi, skin. Tvak, that is the sense or subtle sense organ. Vayu, and touch plus air. 21. What is this 22, 23, 21 ala numbers? And Prabhuji, we shloka numbers, huh?
Sloka numbers, yes.
Acha, okay.
Just now we read, right, mother? Translation purport, but they put it in the properly, nice table format. So we have to read this one. The Lord's desire to experience different things through different gross senses, subtle senses, and Krishna himself given that functionality to a particular demigod. And what is with that? What we are experiencing, the sensory feelings. Sense object plus and gross element. Like that.
Yeah,
Subtle
yeah.
element, subtle perception, and gross experience.
Yeah, got it. So 21, to see other objects, to see himself and other objects. Akshini, eyes. Chakshu is the subtle sense organ. Surya is the sense devata, sun. And sense object gross element is form plus fire. 17 and 18, to drink and eat. Talu, tongue. Jivha, subtle sense organ. Varuna is the sense devata, and sense object gross element is taste plus water. 20, to smell. Nasika, nose. Grana, that is subtle sense organ. Ashwini Kumaras are sense devatas, and smell plus earth is the sense object and gross element.
Thank you, Mataji. Last.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Guruji.
So these are the sound, touch, form, taste, smell, experience through gross element. Sound is there in the ether. Touch is there in the air. Form is there in the fire. Taste is there in the water. Smell is there in the earth.
Prabhu, you know why it has been given in that sequence?
So,
Earth is all the things, Guruji. Earth is like a complete.
The consecutive one will also have the previous ones plus one more thing, like that.
Earth is composed of all. Earth.
Now air will have the ether, sound and touch, all the three.
Previous one.
Fire will have air's qualities, ether's quality, and then form. So earth is the last. It has everything.
And it says like
it's
it's Madhurya Rasa. Everything comes under Madhurya Rasa. He explains that.
Yeah, like that. Same in ether. The earth, water, fire, air, ether. So earth include having smell, water, smell with taste. Fire.
No. Water is fire with taste.
Acha.
Earth is water with smell. Now air is ether plus touch. Ether with touch.
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji. Since you haven't read Prabhu, this section.
Prabhu, I said more today, Prabhu. I will not read. You will go ahead, please.
Okay. So now, Deepa Mataji, Rashmi Mataji, still there? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Are you able to read, Mataji? You read
Yes,
like this, no? Lord's desire is to speak. Gross sense organ is mukham. Subtle sense organ is like that.
Okay, Prabhuji. Lord desires to speak. Gross sense organ is mukham, voice. Subtle sense organ is vag. Sense devata is Agni Dev, Vahnir. Activity, speech. 23rd, Lord's desire to experience sensations. Gross sense organ is Tvachi, hair. And subtle sense organ is Roma. Sense devata is Mahiruha. And activity is external itching plus touch sensation. 24, Lord's desire is to perform activities. Gross sense organ is Hasta, hands. Subtle sense organ is Balam. And sense devata is Indra. And activities. 25. Lord desire is to move about. Gross sense organ is Pada, legs. Subtle sense organ is Karma Bhir. And sense devata is Upendra, activities, moving. 26. Lord desire is to have sex and offsprings. Gross sense organ is Shishna, genitals. Subtle sense organ is Upastha. Sense devata is Prajapati and activity is procreation. 27. Lord's desire is to expel waste. Gross sense organ is Gudam, anus. And subtle sense organ is Payu. Sense devata is Mrityu, Yama, and Mitra. Activity is evacuations. 28. Lord desire is to change body. Gross sense organ is nabhi, navel. Subtle sense organ is apana, prana, vayu. Sense devata is mrityur. And activity is death. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother Krishna.
Prabhuji, why it is
Karma
a different number, means 19 after 23, then 24, like this?
Yes. So,
Nothing like those things, na? Touch, water, smell, ether, they have been
Yes.
removed from the sequence. So whatever is
Oh.
remaining, it has been kept beneath. That's it.
Okay.
They have a sequence. The upper five have a sequence, so that they have been removed from in between, and whatever is left over, they just kept it here.
Okay, Prabhuji. Got it.
Karmavir, this mark is Karmavir is the Shakti of the action of doing. To move about, okay. Karmavir, activities. So let's we walk and we do different things. Physical activity, okay. Okay, we'll ask. Deepamata, you continue from this.
Yes, Prabhuji. 29, to consume food. Kukshi, abdomen, sorry. Adi paina titles in it. Lord's desire is to consume food. The gross sense organ is kukshi. And
subtle sense organ.
Subtle sense organ is antarani, part of intestines that absorbs food. And the sense devata is samudra. And
activity.
Activity. Yeah. Activity is satisfaction from filled stomach. Lord's desire is to consume drink. The sense organ is gross sense organ is kukshi, abdomen. Subtle sense organ is nadiyas, veins which drink in the intestine. Sense devata is nadya, devata of rivers and veins. And the activity is nourishment from assimilation of rasa. Lord's desire is to contemplate his maya and its created objects. The gross sense organ is hridayam. Subtle sense organ is mana. The sense devata is Chandra, and the activity is determination and desire.
So we haven't read
Complete
from
chapter.
30.
Okay.
We'll
Creation
continue
of,
tomorrow.
yeah, creation of. మీరు చదువుతారా?
It's okay. I mean, మనము translation చదవలేదు. We will continue tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let us continue with our sloka practice. Yeah. So before that, this Sunday I am writing exam, Bhakti Vaibhav exam. So I want to recite these two until this week quickly. Whoever writing.
I am also writing.
Yeah. So let us quickly practice with translation. And Vani Mata, what about you? Raju Prabhu, what about you? Raju Prabhu is left. Okay.
ప్రభుజీ ఈ రెండు వచ్చా లేదా అని మీరు అడిగారా?
ఎగ్జామ్ ఎప్పుడు రాస్తున్నారని అడిగారు.
ఎగ్జామ్ నాది ఈ సాటర్డే మాతాజీ. దిస్ సాటర్డే ఐ యామ్ రైటింగ్ మై ఎగ్జామ్.
Right. Okay. So we'll practice quickly. Sirisha Mata, Raju Prabhu వచ్చినారా? చెప్పండి. స్కూల్లో డ్రాప్ చేసి వచ్చారు కదా ఈ టైంకి వచ్చి ఉన్నాడా? Anyway, we'll practice quickly and then go back to Bhishmadev prayers. I will recite. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 12th chapter, 2nd verse. Sasarjagrendhatamishram atatamishamadikrit mahamoham cha tamascha jnana vrittayah. Brahma first created the nascent engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception, or forgetfulness of one's real identity. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, 43rd verse. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायु अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभमक्षरजुषाम् अपि चित्ततन्वो. Translation by Slokas. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the tops of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead enter the nostrils of those sages, the four sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Mridhar Mataji. Okay. Sirisha Raju left office. Okay, Mridhar. Yeah, then we will.
Okay. Sisarjangrindhitamishram atattamishramadikrit mahamoham cha tamaschagdena vrittaya. Translation. Brahma first created the assigned engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusionary bodily conception or forgetfulness of one's real identity. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्दा किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायु अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभक्षरजुषाम् अपि चित्ततन्वो. Translation. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding.
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yeah. Sasarjagre andhatamishram athatamishramadikrit mahamoham cha tamaschagyana vrittaya. Translation. Brahma first created the nescient engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, and the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception or forgetfulness of one's real identity. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायुः अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभमक्षरजुषामपि चित्ततन्वो. Translation. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now let us continue our regular Bhishmadev plans. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, shall we?
Total 7 verses, Prabhuji. I think 7. 7 కాదు 11 అనుకుంటా
11 అని ఉంటాయి 11 ఉంటాయి
verses.
Yeah.
32 to 42.
Yeah. Yes, continue.
Yeah, should I continue with the new one or we will do the next one, the previous one?
Continue the new, bro.
New one.
Okay.
Every day is new. Bhishmadev is every day is new.
He should reveal everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the end of 11 verses.
Okay. So here it is. The shloka goes like this. Sapadhi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye nijaparayor balayoratham niveshya स्थितवती परसै निकायुरक्ष्णा हृतवती पार्थ सखेरते mamastu. So if you see in all the shlokas, the last word is very important. Ratirmamastu. It is somehow or other going in this way only. Kavachestu Krishna Atma. Okay. Astume Navadya in the previous one. And in the first one, it is Itimati Rupakalpita. Always, let my mind be engaged in those activities. In which activities? In the fighting activities of Krishna. That's how, because he is a diplomatic person, or he is a statesman, and what is a war strategist himself. Okay, it is not like that. Bhishmadev has an experience like no one has in both the armies. Okay, and everyone, even Krishna feared Bhishma because of his experience as a king. When Krishna actually fears Krishna, it is not because he is not God. Like, no, it's not because of that. It is because as a king, as a duty, as an occupational person, as a Leela, he was fearing Bhishma because Bhishma has a lot of strategies through which he can easily overcome Pandavas. Okay. Materially, actually, Bhishma is having a lot of strategies, and how he achieved it? Because in his whole lifetime, he has been constantly waging war with Panchalas, okay, and with the other 4 or 5 kingdoms just beside him, and many times he lost also. Okay, generals just don't become great generals just by only winning. No, they will lose in the process. Many times they lose it. That's why in the Jaimini Bharat, whenever this Babruwahana and all face this Arjuna will hear about them, that they are what? They are the emperors of the whole world at some point of time. How will you become emperor of the whole world? By defeating all other kingdoms, right? So who are all other kingdoms? The kingdoms of Bhishmadev, the kingdom of all these people. Other, Panchalas, Vrishnis, all of them got defeated by the kings of this Assam and Malay, the Malay Desh. So what do you conclude by this? Yes, he doesn't only have the victories, he has a lot of failures also in it. That's how he became a great statesman and a war strategist. But internally, what he is pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, his internal thing is coming out at this at this part of his life. That's why those shlokas has been into the Bhagavatam. Okay. Sorry, I'm stressing this point again and again, because Bhishma, if you see in other different scriptures, he will be described in a very different ways. But internally, what he is a devotee of Krishna. Externally, he is performing his occupational duties. As if, just by seeing him, we cannot conclude that he is a devotee. You cannot say that he is a devotee by his external activities. But internally, he is a pure devotee of Lord. Why? Because of this stuti. He remembered Krishna on his deathbed in this way, that he is having a loving exchanges by piercing the body of Krishna. Okay, very different Leela actually, but we should understand between a God and devotee, many things, many times, many different activities takes place. Sapadhi Sakhi Vacho. Okay, Sakhi means who? Arjuna. In the battlefield, Arjuna spoke something. Okay, Sapadhi means in the battlefield. In the battlefield, Arjuna spoke something. Nishamya Madhye. Nishamya means by hearing. After hearing that Sapti Sakha Vacha, friends' words in the battlefield, what did he do? Madhye. In between, he has to be in. In between whom? Nija and Paraya. Nija means ourselves, his own selves, and Paraya means opposite party. His party and opposite party. So what is Bhishmadev remembering? Just by hearing Arjuna's words, Madhye, he has gone in between whom? His army and the opposite army. Nija parayor balayo ratham niveshya. Ratham means chariot. Okay, niveshya. He has taken and placed it over there. Sthitavati parasainikayur akshna. Sthitavati. Just by keeping it, okay, just by keeping his chariot in between these two armies, what did he do? Sthitavati. Parasainika ayur akshna. Parasainika. The opposite side's army is there, no? Ayur. Sainika ayur. Uska ayu means their life energies has been sucked by just seeing them. Okay? Means whenever has Krishna has taken the Arjuna's chariot in between these two armies, and when Krishna glanced the opposite party, then itself it has been decided by Bhishma, then we are gone. Our ayus has been completely taken away by Krishna. Still, he fought 12 days in Mahabharata war. Why? As a service to the Lord. Okay? Bhishmadev is telling, the moment he came and he glanced at us, he has taken our ayu. Akshna means eyes. He has seen, the Krishna has seen through his eyes all the opposite party, and he has completely sucked the life energies of all the opposite parties. Okay? Hitavata partha sakhirate mamastu. Partha Sakhe. Who is Partha Sakhe? Krishna. Ratir Mamastu means let my feeling, thinking, and willing, or let my attraction be towards that personality. Understood the 4 lines, na? Sapadi Sakhavacho means in the battlefield, Sakhivacha, friends' words. Okay, Nishamya, hearing. In the battlefield, after hearing friends' words, what did he do? Madhye Nijaparayor Balayo. He kept. What is Nijaparayor Balayo? What did he do? Ratham. He has taken his Ratham. Madhye Nijaparayor Balam. Okay. In between both the armies, he kept his Ratham. Niveshya. See, just keeping it like that. What did he do? Sthitavati. He placed it and he has glanced. What did he do by glancing? Sucking the whole energy of the opposite side. They are already dead. They are dead men walking then from then on. Okay. How did he do it? Just by observing the armies, opposite armies. Okay. Haritavati Partha Sakhi. Let my mind be focused on or be attracted towards that Krishna. Okay. Partha Sakhi. Who is Partha Sakhi? This is what this shloka means. Mataji, you can go ahead.
ప్రభుజీ ట్యూన్ ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్తారా?
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye nijaparayor balayoratham niveshya sthitavati parasai nikayurakshna haritavati partha sakhirati mamastu. It's like that, Mataji.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe. Hare Krishna, please repeat.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe
Nija parayor balayor ratham niveshya.
Nija parayor balayor ratham niveshya.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe
Nija parayor balayor ratham niveshya.
Nija parayor balayor ratham niveshya.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya mathe
Every word should be short, Mataji. Don't extend it, otherwise the tune will go. Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye.
Sapadi
Sapadi
sakhi vacho nishamya madhye.
निज परयोर बलयोरथं निवेश्य
निज परयोरबलयोरथं निवेश्य
स्थितवती
Parasai.
परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा
Tavati parasai
Ayurashna.
स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा
Sitapati parasai Kayurashna
स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा
Sitavati parasैनिकायुराक्ष्णा
धृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु
Sitavati parasैनिकायुराक्ष्णा
धृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु
Sitavati
Sakirati mamastu.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishammadhye nij parayoratham niveshya
हितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा हृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु
Sitavati parasैनिकायुराक्ष्णा Ritavati partha sakherati mamastu.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye nij parayoratham niveshya
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye nij parayorbalayoratham niveshya
हितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा हृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु
Sitavati parasैनिकायुराक्ष्णा Ritavati partha sakherati namastu.
లైక్మాన్ ప్రభు కరెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నానా
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji, please.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा हृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु
सपदि सखि वचो निशम्य माध्ये निजपरयोरबलयोरथं निवेश्य स्थितवति परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा स्थितवति पार्थसखीरते ममस्तु.
Okay. This one, sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye. It won't go up. Nishamya madhye. It won't go up. It will go down. Nishamya madhye. Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye. So let's do individually now. We'll start with Prabhuji's. And Giraj Prabhu, మీరు చేస్తారా first?
Yes, mother. Sapadi saki vacho nisamya madhye
అది పైకి వెళ్తాం ప్రభుజీ.
మదర్
నిశమ్య మధ్యే అది పైకి వెళ్తుంది, అది కిందకి రావాలి. నిశమ్య మధ్యే
సపది సఖి వచో నిశమ్య మధ్యే నిజ పరయోర్బలయోరథం నివేశ్య స్థితవతి పరసైనికాయురాక్ష్ణ ऋतवती पार्थ सखे रते ममास्तु.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
అది యాక్చువల్గా ఆ ట్యూన్ నేను ఫస్ట్ చేసేదాన్ని. అప్పుడు మన లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు అన్నారు ఏంటంటే ఇది ట్యూను అట్లా కాదు అని చెప్పి. సో అది చూసుకోవాలి ప్రభుజీ. ఆ లాస్ట్ లో నిశమ్య మధ్యనే సపది సఖీ వచో నిశమ్య మధ్యే నిజ పరయోర్బలయోరథం నివేశ్య స్థితవతి పరసైనికాయురాక్ష్ణ. కిందకి వెళ్తోంది, ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ ట్రై చేస్తారా?
Okay, sure, mother. सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य स्थितवति परसैनिकायुराक्ष्ण कृतवती पार्थ सखे रते ममास्तु.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I'll follow the tune of 30 seconds because I think the tune is not important. So,
Yeah.
Sapadi sakhi vacho nishamya madhye nija parayor balayoratham niveshya स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा ऋतवती पार्थ सखे रते ममास्तु. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Akinchan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I'll try, Mataji. Last two lines I could not practice.
No problem.
I think I may require your help in last two lines.
Yeah.
Yes. सपदि सखि वचो निशम मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरथं निवेश्य स्थितवति
स्थितवति परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा.
Okay, स्थितवति परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा ऋतवती परतक सखे रतिर्ममस्तु.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
Sorry,
you.
Mataji.
No problem, Prabhuji. Chandramouli Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरतं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुरक्ष्णा ऋतवती पार्थ सखे रतिर्ममास्तु.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Lalitman Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरतं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुरक्ष्णा कृतवती पार्थ सखेरति ममास्तु. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Lavanya
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hi.
Nain Jeta Mataji. Ram Reddy.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरधं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा ऋतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Perfect. Lavanya Mataji.
Yeah, I'll do in Tribhuvana Kamalam Mataji in this
Okay,
tune.
Mataji.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरदं निवेशा स्थितवती परसैनिकायुरक्ष्णा श्रुतवती पार्थ सखेरति ममास्तु. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Perfect, Mataji. Thank you. Navneet, Samyukta Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरधं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा कृतवती पार्थ सखेरतिर्ममास्तु. Thank you,
Very good,
Mataji.
Mataji. Perfect. Rashmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thanks.
सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरतं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुरक्ष्णा कृतवती पार्थ सखेरति ममास्तु.
Thank you, Mataji. Vani Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. सपदि सखी वचो निशम्य मध्ये निज परयोर्बलयोरतं निवेश्य स्थितवती परसैनिकायुराक्ष्णा ऋतवती पार्थ सखीरति ममास्तु.
Hari Bol Mataji. Thank you.
you.
Yes, I think everybody is done. Hare Krishna, we can conclude the call, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Dandavat pranam. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्रील गुरुदेव की जय. निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे.
हरि बोल.
श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. भागवतम प्रेयर्स की जय. भीष्मदेव की जय. See you all tomorrow. KC Tuesday.